Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Wednesday morning, and today our class is called Shake and Ground. Uh, when I was doing the lockdown yoga, I tried this out a few times. A practice where, yes, it is working. A practice where you use a lot of shaking to relax the body deeper into certain poses. And it's been a while since then, but I thought it's time again to shake it up. So yeah, we'll start the practice with a lot of really easy, relaxed shaking. And then we'll do some flows where we shake through the positions and then repeat it without the shaking. So we can really feel the difference between using the effort of the shaking and the release of the shaking, and then noticing how that changes the practice. I'm shaking all the time as I'm saying it. So yeah, I really like doing this. Um, it's kind of I never really did a class like this myself with anybody, but the shaking comes more from other practices like the Ilan Lev practice or all sorts of dance trainings where we do a lot of shaking and releasing. So I really like to combine these things. Yeah, so we'll do that. You can take a moment to get your mat ready while I close windows here. Blinds. And the door. Right, so yeah, and one more thing. I posted here in the chat a playlist of music that I like to use for shaking. I cannot play it myself because of copyright stuff. So when I play music, then YouTube tells me I cannot post the video publicly because of copyright stuff. But you are more than welcome to have a listen. It's Fela Kuti, it's very easy vibes. Or you can use your own music if you have something that really energizes you that you like to use. Um, it's quite nice to have a bit of a beat to do the shaking on. Yeah, so that's something you can try if you have something ready that you enjoy using. I'm just gonna move this tiny bit. See if that is any better. Yes. All right. So let's just start. Go standing on your mat. Close your eyes. Taking a moment here to stand very simply, to arrive and try to do the opposite of what we normally do. When standing in yoga practice, we try to normally really lift up and stand tall and proud. But now, before we start shaking, see if you can stand with as little effort as possible. So maybe it means your feet are rolling a little bit in, or your knees are rolling a little bit in. Maybe your lower back is a little bit more arched than normally. Maybe your shoulders round slightly. Doesn't matter. Just see what's the least amount of tension you can possibly use for standing. Is there a way you can release the big muscles of the upper thighs, the buttocks, the belly even, the ribs? And it might feel like you're standing completely weird and crooked. It doesn't matter. Just take a moment to Find a very restful, very relaxed standing pose. It can also mean that you start to feel muscles releasing, and which makes you shift the weight a little bit. Noticing how there's not really anything like standing still. There's no such thing as standing still. There's always a lot of movement happening. And in order to stand really still, you would need to use a lot of effort to keep your muscles in check. So trying to do the opposite here, standing with everything soft and relaxed, your belly hanging out. Take a few deep breaths and notice where the breath wants to go naturally. Maybe it goes into your chest, maybe the belly, maybe a little bit of both. And as you breathe out, really drop everything down. And let your belly hang. Soften between the shoulder blades, soften the top of the neck. And from here, start thinking about a little bounce. So we're not yet doing it. Just imagining where the movement would start from if you would now start to super gently, super easily bounce a little bit up and down. And very, very gradually starting to create that little bounce, very small. Using the knees to gently bend. Very minuscule movement, maybe it's not even visible yet. Letting the pelvis drop. Slowly making it a little bit more visible and seeing if you can really work from the release. So you're releasing your weight down into the floor. You can start with a slow tempo, or you can already go a bit faster. See where you can be the most relaxed. Keeping your eyes closed, start to use the bounce to release your muscles even more into the floor. So every down bounce, you feel the weight of your muscles sinking down through your feet into the floor. So now your knees are shaking, your hips are bouncing, your shoulders are reacting, your upper neck maybe starts to react. And let your jaw hang. And we're going to be here for a little while, so just find a way in which the bounce generates itself. So you're not putting much effort into the movement. Once you bounce down, you naturally bounce back up, and once you bounce up, you naturally bounce back down. And then starting from the feet, keep bouncing. Do a little body scan on yourself. And as you reach each part of your body, see if you can release more. Starting with your toes and your whole foot, the heels. Is there anything more you can relax? Are there any muscles that can be more released, that can relax more down into the floor? Same with the heels. The fronts of the ankles, can you make them completely soft? Your shin bones, the backs of your heels and your Achilles tendons, your calf muscles. Can you soften anything more? The insides of your calves and the outsides of your calves. And then your knees. Is there anything you can release more in the knees? And as you do this, you can change up the speed, intensity, and also the way in which you use each body part. So as we're focusing on the knees, is there a way you can shake the knees where you can really feel them relaxing? Backs of the knees, sides of the knees, fronts of the knees. And then moving to the upper thigh, from the knees moving up, the big muscle in the upper thigh. Is there a way you can find to shake the upper thigh that it releases even more down? The inner thighs, the outsides of the thighs, and the backs of the legs, the hamstrings, moving down into the knees. Can you soften more? Your buttocks, can you really feel your buttocks kind of flapping up and down as you shake here? The outsides of your hips and the fronts of your hips, those big connecting muscles between the legs and the torso, can you release them more? Can you soften them? The lower belly, the hip bones, the whole pelvis. Can you release the space between your two sitting bones, the tip of your tailbone and your pubic bone? The pelvic floor muscles, can you release them more? Can you soften them down into the floor? Or towards the floor, moving to the lower back. Can you lengthen and soften and release the lower back even more as you keep shaking? And how about the belly? Can you let it hang out? Can you feel it flopping up and down? Your inner organs moving, shaking. The sides of your torso, moving up into the lower ribs. And again, you can keep adjusting the shake so that you maybe initiate the shake from the body part where we're focusing on. Can you shake from the lower ribs? Can you soften them? Can you soften all the muscles between the ribs? And the sternum, the chest, releasing the chest down. In the middle back, can you release your middle spine more? In the back of the rib cage, softening the intercostal muscles between the ribs, softening the ribs themselves. Our bones made out of so many living tissues, blood flowing through the bones. Our bones look very different than what we think from images we have of dead skeletons. Our bones are full of life and they can move, they can bounce. Not to the same extent as the muscles, but still, our bones are mobile, they bounce back. Releasing your shoulder blades, feel them bouncing up and down the rib cage. Can you feel them really sliding? Your shoulders bouncing up and down, up and down. The armpits. Can you soften underneath your armpits more so they can release down even more? Can you release the tops of your shoulders, the trapezius muscles? And your upper arms. The round shoulder cuffs and the tops of your arms moving all the way down into the elbow. Releasing those big muscles in the upper arm. Softening the elbows. And the lower arms. The wrists. Can you release your wrists more? Can you soften them more? And the backs of the hands and the hand palms. And all the fingers. You can shake out your hands a little bit more vigorously to really feel the relaxation there. Moving to the neck, the back of the neck softening. Front of the throat softening. Intensify the shaking in that area. Softening underneath the chin, the whole jawline, very soft. The ears and the jaw. The chin, the cheeks, your jaw is hanging open, so your lower lip might be also bouncing up and down. A really good sign if your lower lip is bouncing up and down, it means you're releasing your jaw. So you can have your mouth hanging a little bit open. Upper lip, the nose. Is it possible to bounce your nose? And all of the contents of your skull, your brain is bouncing up and down. Your eyeballs are bouncing up and down inside their sockets. Eyebrows and the forehead and the temples. And the skull, the scalp. As you're bouncing up and down, the scalp is gliding over the skull, up and down and up and down and up and down. Intensify the shake a little bit. Really moving weight down into the floor, down, 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 down. And then keep the intensity, start to alternate between your knees. You can start this a bit smaller, it can be an intense shake for the lower back. So keeping your soles of your feet flat, shaking now by bending one knee then the other. Seeing how that changes the shaking. Now you're shaking out one shoulder then the other. Everything is wiggling side to side. Very different shake. How does it change the shaking of the butt? Shaking of the jaw. Coming back to evenly shaking with your 2 feet. Bring your feet a little bit wider. You can still have your eyes closed. Quite helps to have the eyes closed so you can release the neck. With the eyes open, sometimes the eyes like to stay focused on one point, especially when we're doing a lot of movement. And that can kind of stick the position of the neck and head in one point, where if we close the eyes, it's much easier to let the neck and head move with us. So feet a bit wider than your hips. Just another way to change up this shake. See what happens when you have your legs a little bit wider. You can experiment with turning your feet out a little bit here, seeing what that does. For me, that really shakes the inner thighs very differently. And just keep shaking. Also here you can shake one by one your knees. Take a very free, shaky exploration. Seeing what you can release more, where you can release more. What happens when you bend your knees a little bit deeper? And gently start to bring your feet back underneath your structure. Feet underneath your hips. The energy shaking directly down into the floor. Now really slowly start dropping your head forward. Keep shaking and stretching out the neck here. Rolling the head over to the right side. Slowly. Coming back to the front middle. And rolling over to the left. And it's very difficult to talk like this actually. Back halfway down. So your pelvis is still upright. Shake it out here. And then from there, gently rolling down all the way until you can put your fingertips on the floor. If it doesn't reach so easily, use some blocks. Shaking out your hips still. And here you can experiment with the weight. You can step your hands slightly forward into like a mini V shape and take some weight into the hands, shake from there. Moving back into the feet, just explore a little bit the shaking here while you're hanging upside down. Also here you can alternate between the legs. Maybe shifting the weight forward and back onto the heels and onto the balls. See if you can release more, relax more down into the floor. And then keep shaking and start to roll all the way back up. Enjoying every little step along the way. Rounding your back, releasing your head down. Coming back to standing upright. And one more time, let's increase the intensity of the shake. Really shake now as fast and hard as you can. Releasing the hips, the pelvis, the heels, the knees, the shoulders, the whole face. You keep going for just a little bit more, as fast as you can, as big of a range as you can. 10, 9, 8, increase more, 7, 6, as fast as you can for the last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. Breathe. And keep your eyes closed. Just notice your sensations. Notice how your skin feels, how your muscles feel, how your bones feel. Standing again in that really relaxed way, so we're not pushing ourselves, lifting ourselves up, not yet. We're trying to stand with minimum effort. Notice if anything has changed from before the shaking. Maybe you're standing differently. Maybe you feel a little warmer. And then come to standing in front of your mat. Now restart the shake, but very, very gently. So very easy shake that you can maintain. We're going to breathe in, lift the arms up. Take the time here to lift your arms up slowly and see if you can let the shake move into the arms, all the way into the hand. Looking up at the arms. From there, swan diving down. Also here, taking time to experiment a little bit with this. See what happens to the arms, see what happens to your neck. Swan diving all the way down, drop the head. Keep shaking, gently coming halfway up. Can you shake the shoulders as well as the pelvis? Rolling back down. Take some weight into your hands, spread your fingers, start to step your feet back one by one. See if you can keep the shaking really continuous. So now shaking in plank. You can take the shake from the balls of the feet or from the hands, or both. Bring your knees down to the floor. Keep shaking. Then come down into chaturanga. See if you can keep shaking into a little cobra pose. And what does it mean here? To find a little shake. Finding different anchor points for shaking. From there, rolling back down. Keep your knees on the floor. Press yourself up. That press up is a very tricky place to keep shaking. See if you can do it. From there, coming into your downward dog, shaking. And you can take a moment to shake out one leg and the other. Shake out one arm, and then the other. Dropping the head, shake out the head. See if you can do all these shakes while keeping a main body shake. So your pelvis and your shoulders are always shaking. From here, bring your right leg up, shake it out parallel. Maybe you can shake both legs at the same time. And then bring the right knee to the chest. See here what you can shake, maybe the right foot, the left knee. Step the right foot between the hands. Drop your left knee down. Hang your torso down over your front knee. And find a way to shake here, or rather find a way to continue the shake through everything. And in different positions, the intensity will be a little bit different. That's okay. If it gets too much, just make it smaller. If it gets too tiring, make the shake very small. Bring your hands to your knee, sinking your hips down. You can press into your hands here to start the shake. You can also start the shake from the upper thigh. Experiment a little bit with different starting points. See if you can keep your shoulders soft and relaxed. Shaking your hips more and more down, down, down. From here, keep your hands on your knees, straighten your left leg. Keep shaking. From there, float up your arms, shaking them. And then bring your arms back down next to your foot. Step your foot into plank, see if you can keep shaking. And bring your knees to the floor, keep shaking. Bring your chest to the floor, keep shaking. Slide forward, untuck your toes, come into a little cobra. Keep shaking. So we're moving through all the normal poses in a very different way from here. Rolling down, shake out your pelvis. Press into your hands, you can keep your knees on the floor. Still shaking. Press yourself into a bouncy downward dog. Making sure it doesn't stress you out, the shaking, so finding the most relaxed possible way to do this. Lifting your left leg to a parallel-ish position with a floppy foot pointing. Sorry, it's shaking out that left foot and maybe also shaking the right knee at the same time, the torso at the same time, bringing the knee towards the chest, rolling the weight forward. Step the foot down. That's another point where it's difficult to keep shaking, where you're stepping the foot into a lunge. Bring your right knee down, lay your torso down over your left thigh. Keep shaking. Even if it's super small, keep the shaking going. And then place your hands on top of your knee. Find a way to continue the shake. As we move through positions, the instigator of the shake has to change because we're using different muscles in different positions. So if you can find a seamless transition there. Keep shaking the hips more down. It's going to be nice and sweaty practice today. From here, keep your hands on your knees, straighten the right leg, keep shaking. Maybe shifting the weight forward and back. Float your arms up just for a moment. And then bring them down next to your foot, step into plank, shaky plank. Now you can either put your knees down or keep your legs long. See if you can do a shaky all the way down to chaturanga. Into, if you're ready for upward dog, into upward dog. Take a moment there to shake your back out. And then let's come to a little child's pose. Moving through all fours, shaking the whole time. And then finish the shake. Just Take a moment here in child's pose with stillness, noticing any tired spots, any tight spots, any really good feeling spots, any reverberations from the shaking. From here, coming back into your downward dog, a still one this time, no shaking, noticing the differences, maybe noticing a really big calm after all of that busy movement, lifting your sit bones up, sinking your heels down, softening the fronts of your ankles, and look up at your hands with really small steps. Walk your feet in one by one. Going halfway up. Drape your torso down over your thighs. Bend your knees deeply, round up your spine completely. Standing up tall. Seeing now if you can find a way to lift yourself up in standing without over tensing, over flexing the muscles. So we're happy medium between that first standing of the day where we dropped everything down and a gentle lifting up as if someone is supporting us so we're not tensing up. We'll do exactly the same sequence we just did, but this time without shaking. Very slow and easy. Breathing in, arms move up. Breathing out, swan diving down. Breathing in, come halfway up. Breathing out, your choice whether you step or jump into plank. Take a moment here in plank where you feel your hands grounding into the floor, your heels reaching back in there. Try to round it down. Your choice with your knees up or down, sliding into cobra or up dog. Coming back into downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Lifting your right foot up, parallel, flex foot. Weight evenly divided between your 2 hands. Point that right foot. Pull the knee towards the chest, roll the weight forward. Step the foot between hands, drop the left knee down. Sink your whole torso down, drop your head, your right shoulder leaning on top of your right knee. You can let the belly hang out here for a moment. And then zip up your abdominals, pulling your belly button in towards the spine. Put your hands on your right knee. Bring your torso up. Sink your hips more down. Your right ankle directly below the knee. Left hip sinking forward and down. Rib cage floating up. Keep pressing your hands down into the knees. Straighten your left leg. Keep your hips down low. Float your arms up. From here, reaching forward on the diagonal to bring your hands back down next to your foot. Step into plank. Chaturanga down. Upward facing dog. Into downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. And from there, lifting your left leg back and up. The foot's flexed, the leg parallel. Weight evenly divided between your 2 hands. Pointing through the left foot, pulling knee in towards the chest, roll the weight forward. Step the left foot between the hands, drop the right knee down. Drop your head down, resting your torso on top of your left thigh. Let your belly hang out for a moment, really releasing all the weight down to the floor, releasing your shoulders, soft gaze. From there, zip up your abdominals, pulling your belly button in towards the spine. Put both your hands on top of your knee, pressing down. Your hips sinking lower forward and down, your rib cage floating up, long back of the neck. Keeping your hips down low, press down into your knee to straighten your right leg. From there, float up both of your arms. See if you can really find a big relaxation in this pose. And reach the arms forward on the diagonal. Step back into plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Three deep breaths with your sit bones pulling up at the ceiling. Your heels pressing down. The weight as well as the knuckles or the finger pads underneath the knuckles, and look up at your both hands. Step or jump back to the front of your mat and halfway up. Rounding yourself down. Bend your knees deeply. Roll up all the way. Soft gaze on the way. Standing up tall, opening your palms to the front. Releasing the palms. Bring back the little shake. Very easy shake here. Gentle. Transferring the weight into the left foot. Keep shaking. Bring the right knee up. Grabbing the right knee with both your hands. Bring the knee up towards the chest. Keep shaking. See if you can experiment with a bit with the beginning point of the shake, so it can come from the left foot. It can also come from the right foot. Can you keep your shoulders really soft here? So isolating the muscles in the hands and lower arms to hold on to the knee. Keep your shoulders soft and bouncy, receptive to this little shake. And then gently releasing the knee. Bring your leg forward straight. The leg. And bring it back. Step it down next to the left. Shake for a moment on both feet. Shifting the weight into the right foot. Start bringing your left foot up. Grab hold of your knee with both your hands. Holding the knee in towards the chest, keep shaking. And if you're losing balance, slow down the shake a little bit and find the grounding through your right foot. Pressing down into the big toe as well as the outside of the heel. Keep shaking, releasing the shoulders. And let go of the knee, lengthen the leg low before you in front of you. Keep shaking the leg out. Move it over to the side. Feeling the shake all the way into the upper thigh and buttocks of the left leg. Moving to the back of the leg. And then step the foot back in. Keep shaking. Bouncing down, 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 down. And then we'll do another little shaky flow. Moving a little bit further now. So make the shake quite gentle, quite easy, no effort. The shake generates itself. Breathing in, move your arms up. You can move a little bit further. Slowing diving down, keep shaking. Hands next to feet, drop the head, and come halfway up. Now you can step or jump. If you jump, see if you can keep the shake happening while you jump. It's very tricky. Shaking in your plank pose and coming down. Chaturanga, sliding forward into up dog. Pressing yourself back into a shaky, bouncy downward dog. And keep experimenting with the beginning points of the shake. The places that are more difficult to shake are the places where we need it the most, because that's where we're holding tension. And lifting up the right leg, the foot down, a few times shaking out. Bring the knee into the chest, roll the weight forward, step between the hands. Come right away until you've supported warrior one, so with a long left knee. Right knee, shaky. Now float your arms up and straighten the front leg. Keep shaking. Drop the left heel. So we're with a straight front knee. Little shake. And while into warrior two pose, you can slowly shake a little bit down. Relaxing the weight into the floor. From here, keep shaking, straighten the right knee again. Now lean forward. Come into a shaky, bouncy triangle. And yes, it may look completely ridiculous. Bring the arms back up. And take a moment to drop the arms down. Stay in this warrior two pose. Just shake. Let the arms just release down to the floor. Maybe shaking a little bit between your two legs. Back and forward, back and forward. Shoulders soft. Bring your hands, shake your hands extra much and shake them down. Round your torso. A little bit down between your legs. Keep shaking, shaking, shaking. Shaking out your hands, shaking out your head. Roll the torso back up. Bring the arms back Keep shaking the arms. Bend your right knee. Now we're in a really weird, shaky warrior two, shaking out the arms, shaking out the legs from here. Twist yourself forward, lifting the left heel up. Keep shaking your hands above you. You're in warrior one. Lean forward. Bring your hands down to the floor. Step into plank. Keep shaking. Come down. Chaturanga. Sliding forward into upward dog. Let's take a little. Coming through all fours. And to shake out the back. A few times cat-cow and bottom. Keep shaking. And from there, we're going to take a little child's pose to take a breath before we do the other side. Going to the child's pose. You can keep shaking here if you like to keep the momentum going. Make it very, very small, very gentle. You can open your knees a little bit wider. Catching your breath. And if it's a bit intense, you can also, up to you. Maybe shaking your hips a little bit side to side. Letting your head react to that. And from there, see if you can find back your groovy shake. Spreading your hands. Bring the knees in, tuck the toes, come back into your downward dog. From there, start to lift the left leg up. Shaking that leg out, shaking the foot out, opening the hip. And see if you can keep a shake going throughout the whole body. Not just only the leg. Then bending the knee and a few times kicking yourself in the butt. And then kicking your leg back up. From there, bring the knee to the chest, roll forward. Step the foot between the hands, place your hands on top of your knee. Come into your supported warrior one. Shaking, shaking. Releasing the hips more down. Float your arms up. Start to straighten the left leg. Bring the right heel down to the floor. Open your both arms. You're shaking the pelvis. From here, start to bend the left knee while you keep shaking. Sinking the hips down lower. And from there, straightening the left knee. Keep shaking, reach forward with the left hand. Place it on top of your shin. Come into your shaky triangle. See if you can bring the shake in from both legs. Maybe easier here to do it from the back foot. Releasing your focus back down. Bring your arms back up. Bending the knee. Now drop your hands down, your arms down. Take a moment here to intensify the shaking of the pelvis. Intensify the shaking of the hands. Then roll your torso down, dropping the head. Keep shaking the hands. Sinking the hips down lower. From there, gently rolling back up. Lengthen your arms, but keep shaking out the hands. Sit back down into your warrior two. Completely outrageous warrior two here, shaking. And from there, lifting the right heel, lift your arms up, twist your torso forward, coming back into your warrior one, reaching forward with the hands, with the torso, stepping into plank, chaturanga, shaking chaturanga down, into up dog, into all fours, shaking at the hips, moving through a few cat-cows here, while you shake, shake, shake. And then come back into downward dog. Really shaky downward dog. Shaking muscle the shoulders. Using the hands into the floor to initiate sometimes. From there, looking up at your hands, stepping or jumping. If you jump, can you keep shaking as you jump? Very funny, coming halfway up, rounding yourself down. Stay a moment here with your torso and resting on your upper thighs, shaking, bouncing your knees, relaxing the head down. And from there, rolling up, keep shaking. All the way up, all the way up. Intensify the shake just for a little moment. And then standing still. Deep breath. Open your palms to the front. See if you can find an easy, relaxed standing up tall. So we're lifting ourselves up out of the floor, but not by using a lot of muscle force. Feeling as if someone is supporting us with a little string from the top of the head, 2 strings from the ears, some support underneath the armpits, underneath the lower ribs. Shift the weight into the left foot. Bring your right knee up. Without shaking now, just super still, super quiet, super easy. Lifting your knee up all the way. From there, grab the ankle, come into easy tree pose. Bring your right hand into prayer. If the tree pose with the foot in front of the left hip is too intense, you can also step the sole of the right foot onto the inner left thigh. Bring your left hand to meet the right, only if the foot doesn't slip. From here, again, finding that easy way of lifting out of the legs, out of the hips without over forcing anything. Lengthening the back of the neck. If you'd like to test your balance, you can close your eyes. Even if just for a second, experiment with it. Keep breathing deeply, and if you fall, don't worry. Just come straight back in. From there, open your eyes again. Step the right foot down. Bring the hands down, shift the weight into the right foot. Grab hold of the left knee, interlacing your fingers Isolating the muscles of the fingers and lower arms, relaxing the shoulders. Easy lifting up of the torso out of the floor. From there, bringing your left foot in front of the right hip into easy tree pose. Holding on to the foot with the right hand. Bring the left hand in prayer in front of the chest. Again, if it's too intense, step the sole of the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Only if the foot doesn't slip. Bring your right hand to meet the left. Easy lifting up of the rib cage away from the hips. Lengthen the back of your neck and try to close your eyes. Even if for a second you can keep opening and closing them if it's hard to keep them closed. And then gently open your eyes back up. Step the left foot back down. Again, we'll repeat the whole sequence from before without shaking. Standing up tall, breathing in, lift your arms up overhead. Breathing out, swan diving down. Breathing in, come halfway up. Breathing out, step or jump back into down on the same out breath. Upward facing dog. Optional extra push up. Softening your ankles, softening your ribs, floating the whole way down into the floor. Weight into the left foot, reaching the right foot all the way up, opening the hip. Keep the weight evenly divided between your two hands. Now, bend the right knee, stretch the knee up higher. From there, knee towards chest, roll the weight forward, step the foot between the hands, bring the hands to your knee, lift up into your warrior one. Float your arms up. Straighten the front knee. Bring the left heel down. Bring your hands down. Bend the front knee. Sink your hips down into strong warrior two pose. From there, straightening the front knee. Reach the right hand forward. Place it on your shin or ankle. Lift the left hand up. Reach out of all of your limbs. Keep breathing. Very simple, clear pose. Focus back down. Bring your arms back up. Bend your right knee. Sink your hips a little bit lower, then lift your arms, lift the left heel. You're sitting back in your warrior one. From here, reach the torso forward, arms forward. Place the hands next to the foot. Step into plank. Chaturanga down. Upward facing dog. Into downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Shift weight into the right foot. Lifting the left foot back and up. Pointing the foot, opening the hip. Keep pressing down into the left hand to keep the weight evenly divided. So only your hip is twisting open, but the rest of the back stays the same. Bend the left knee. Lift it up higher to the ceiling. Keep reaching that left armpit down. Then reach the knee forward into the chest, roll forward. Step the foot between the hands. Bring the hands on top of the knee. Sink your hips down lower. From here, floating your arms up into warrior one. Calm and clear. Stay. Straightening your front leg. Twist your torso open to the right. Drop your right heel to the floor. Opening your arms, then bend the left knee. Warrior two. Sink your hips down lower. Outside of the right foot flat on the floor. Left thigh parallel with the floor. Straighten your left knee. Reach forward. With the left hand, place it on top of the ankle or shin. Reach the right arm up. Stretching out of all of your 4 limbs, 5 limbs, including the head. Move your focus back down. Bring your arms and torso back up. Sit your hips back down, bending the front knee. From here, reach your arms up, twist your torso. Lift the right heel, come back into your warrior one. Sit a little bit down lower, and from there, reach the torso forward, push down into your right ball of your foot, hands next to your foot. Step into plank, chaturanga down, upward facing dog. And let's come into child's pose. You can open your knees or keep them parallel. Breathing deeply, releasing the lower back, releasing the inner thighs. And from here, let's come into all fours. Close your knees back to parallel. Bring your right foot to the outside of the right hand. So your foot is parallel with the outside of your mat. Maybe walk your left knee a little bit further back. We're going to come into lizard here. So if this is intense enough, just stay here. If you'd like to go deeper, slowly you can start to move your elbows towards the floor. Or you can use also a block here underneath your elbows. A block underneath my head. Have a little bit of extra support here. See if you can release the shoulders. Softening the belly so you can really let your belly hang out here. Softening the outside of your left hip and the front of your left hip. From here, lift your right toes and point them to the side wall, opening your knee, let your knee fall open. Maybe it means you need to shift the weight a little bit more to the right to intensify the stretch underneath the right hip. Keep breathing deeply. From here, keep the right foot where it is. Walk your hands back up underneath your shoulders. Your left hand is directly beneath your shoulder. You're going to bend the right knee. The left knee is bending. Reaching the right hand back behind the back to grab the top of the left foot. Twisting your back. Sitting your hips gently down lower and lower. Releasing the front of the left thigh. Maybe pulling the heel closer into the sit-bone. From there, release that foot. Walk the right foot back in. Now we'll do preparation for splits here. So you can use 1 or 2 blocks. You can also use pillows if it helps you. Start by taking the highest position of the block and see if you can sit your right hip down onto that block. So walking the left knee a little bit further back. And if it's really impossible for you, if you're too far away, you can place some pillows on top of the block or even use the other block flat underneath the first block. Just be very careful here not to slip. So you're leaning the right sit bone on the block. You're keeping your left hip bone forward, so we don't want to twist open. We want to make as parallel as possible a split. It's much healthier for the hips that way. It's more difficult to get to splits, but it's a better alignment, and it ultimately gives you more flexibility. Now, if you're ready, very gently, you can start to slide the right heel forward. You can use your other block for support. So placing your other block on the highest level underneath your left shoulder. So you can sit upright and just hang out here. Keep twisting your left hip forward gently so your both hips are facing the same direction. And just breathe here. If it's too intense to straighten the leg, bend the right knee. And it helps to keep the left toes tucked under. It helps encourage your left hip to stay facing forward. So very gentle, simple preparation. Now you can bring your torso forward, stretching out over your right knee, your right leg. And from there, if you're ready to go a little bit deeper, just switch your block to the next level, so on the side, and see how that feels. And you can alternate between leaning yourself forward over the right leg, keeping that left hip forward, and sitting upright, maybe using Your other block for support, really lifting your whole torso up. Taking from here. If it's enough, obviously stay there. If you've really had enough, you can come out and lie in child's pose. If you want to continue, move the weight a little to the left and shift your block to the next level. So one more level down. Maybe lying your torso down over the right leg. Breathing deeply. And then walking your hands back up, leaning your torso all the way up, using the other block at the same level for support. And from there, gently either go all the way down to the floor or bring yourself gently out of this. Carefully and slowly come into an all. Tuck your toes and walk your hands into a little ball. Just releasing both your hips. Noticing any differences between the hips. Softening the fronts of the hips, letting them compress into keep the right toes tucked. Step the left foot next to the left hand on the outside of your mat. So your foot is parallel to the mat and wider than your pelvis. Then start to walk your right knee a little bit further back. Sink your hips down. Take your time. Take it super easy. If you're ready, you can bring your elbows down to the floor or to a block. Find a way here that allows you to be the most relaxed possible. You can untuck the right toes here if it feels better to you. Let your belly hang out. See if you can release the shoulders. Deep breaths. Sinking your hips down lower. From there, lift the toes on the left foot. Open your foot to the side. Let your knee follow. Maybe shifting your weight a little bit more to the left. Increasing the stretch on the outside underneath the left hip. And from there, walk your hands back up. Right hand directly underneath the right shoulder. Keep the left foot where it is. Now start to bend the right knee. Reach the left hand back behind you. Grab the top of the right foot. Twisting your torso open, sinking your hips down. Take your time here. Maybe pulling the right heel closer to the sit bone. From there, gently release the foot. Walk the left foot back into the center. Now we'll go into our preparation for splits. So start by tucking the right toes under. Bring one of your blocks. Bring it to the highest. Very flexible, and it's super easy for you to go to splits. Even then, I would recommend working a bit with the block, maybe on a lower level, just so you can really encourage the hips to be even. So start the left sit bone down on the block. And if you're tall like me, maybe you're still a little bit away from the block. In that case, you can put the other block underneath it on the lowest level, so you have even a bit more height, or you can use some pillows. From here, start walking the left foot forward, and it's quite nice to keep the left foot on the mat here so you don't have the really hard floor underneath your heel. Sliding the foot forward. And if it's very intense, you can bend the left knee a little bit, or keep the foot on the floor with the knee bent that way. You can use your left hand on your left thigh to push yourself up, and the right hand maybe on the block to support yourself. Keeping the right hip facing forward. So flexing the right toes, tucking the right toes under so your right hip is really parallel with the left, facing all the way forward. Taking the time here, breathing deeply. And if you're ready, you can bring your torso forward. Lean it over the left leg. Straighten, changing the stretch here on the left hamstring. Keep your hips even. Soften your belly. From there, if you'd like to go deeper, shift the weight a bit into the right hand and bring your block to the next lower level. So mine is now on the side. That's the medium level of the block. If you don't have a block, you can support yourself with pillows or with rolls. Using the other block at the same level as the block underneath your hip, so you can lean your hand onto it, and you can lean your left hand on your left thigh, reaching your sternum up. Keep reminding yourself to point the right hip forward, so the right leg is parallel, the knee is pointing down, not opening. And from there, gently walking. Lay your torso down on top of your left thigh. And then either staying here or moving one more level down with the block. Every time you shift the block, make sure you reshift the right. It can help sometimes to use the hand to lengthen the left heel, the left Achilles. Walking yourself back, supporting yourself on the block and the leg to reach your sternum up, your ribcage up away from the hips. Very gentle, easy. It's okay, you can move out of it. If you want to continue a little bit longer, see what happens when you remove the block altogether. And super gently coming out of it. Tuck your toes under and come into, again, a little ball to just neutralize this. Notice what happened to your hips now. Just equalizing between the two legs. Drop your head, uncurl your tail. Lengthen through the whole spine and breathe into the pelvic floor. From here, bring your knees down to the floor. Coming to all fours. Slide your right knee forward towards your hands. Open the foot a little bit to the left side and slide the left knee behind it. Now you can use your hands to roll your calf muscles a little bit up as you sit down between your heels. Especially the right calf muscle wants to get stuck there. You can roll it a bit out of the way. Bringing both your knees on top of each other, sitting both sit bones down. So it sometimes means you have to walk your left foot a little bit further forward. Placing your hand palms on top of your soles of your feet. Close your eyes for a moment. Energy circulating through the arms into the legs, through the legs into the arms, all the way around. From here, reach your right hand up over your right shoulder, your left hand behind your back. See if you can interlace the fingers. If you're not there yet, you can hold onto your top or use a strap here. Trying to point the right elbow out of the middle of the head, out of the top of your head, behind you. And from here, really slowly, gently tuck your chin towards your chest, round your back forward, all the way until your knee and forehead touch. Relaxing the shoulders as much as you can. Keep reaching your sit bones down into the floor. Your back is really round here. Gently rolling back up. Pushing your head into the arms so you stretch your shoulder even more. Maybe moving towards a tiny baby arch. Looking up. From there, release your hands. And now bring your torso down again, but with your hands down on the floor so you have some support. You can bring your chin over your knee this time. And then gently roll yourself back up. Take your right knee closer to your chest. Step the right foot on the outside of the left heel. Now wrap the left elbow around the right knee. Grab the upper right thigh with those fingertips. Bring your left hand behind your back on the floor. Breathe in, lengthen your back. Breathe out, twist. Looking all the way at the back wall. Using that left hand to twist yourself more. One more time, breathing in, lengthen. Breathing out, twist, twist, twist. Gently coming out. Walk your left foot forward until it's at a 90-degree angle, if you can, with the knee. Then bring the right ankle on top of the left knee. So your feet as far as possible forward. Rolling your sitting flesh a bit out of the way. Knees and ankles are connected. Bring your fingertips next to your hips. Lift your whole ribcage up and away from the hips. Long lower back. From here, start walking your hands forward. Super slowly, gently. Take your time. Release the tail. Soften the neck. Drop your head. Maybe bring your elbows all the way down to the floor. Breathing deeply here, 5 breaths. And on every out breath, you release a little bit more into the floor. And gently walk your hands back up. Roll yourself up. Take your knees up and pull them into your chest for a moment. And then we'll change sides. So coming back to all fours. This time sliding the left knee forward. Slipping the left foot towards the right and sliding the right knee behind the left. Open your feet a little bit. Roll the left calf muscle up so it doesn't get stuck. Walk the right foot a little bit further out so your both sit bones can sit down. And then place your hand palms on the soles of your feet, signaling to your hips that it's okay to relax. Relaxing the ankles and the knees, the hips, the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders. And from here, reach your left arm up behind the left shoulder. The right hand behind your back. See if you can interlace. And if you cannot yet, sometimes it can help to use the top arm, so in this case the left arm, to help the right hand slide up the back so you can grab the right hand with the left and slide it a little bit up higher and then hold it there. So you have a bit more space to grab fingertips. And if you cannot grab it yet, use a strap or hold on to your shirt. Point the left elbow out of the center of the top of your head. Then tuck your chin into your chest and round very gently down. Maybe bringing your forehead all the way down to your knee. Breathing. Gently rolling back up. Now, see if you can do a little mini arch, pressing your head in towards your arm. Stretching your shoulder even more, looking up just for a moment. Then release your hands. Come back down one more time, this time kneeling the weight on your hands. Hooking your chin over your knee. Releasing the outsides of the hips. Roll yourself back up. Bring your left knee up towards the chest. Step the foot on the outside of the right knee. Then grab the right arm. Wrap the right arm, elbow around the left leg. Grabbing hold of the left upper thigh with the right fingertips. Now place your left hand behind your sacrum on the floor. Breathe in, lengthen your spine. Breathe out, twist. Pulling on that leg with the right hand. One more time, breathing in to lengthen. Breathing out to twist, twist, twist your spine. Gently unravel. Walk your right foot forward until the shin is parallel to the mat. Then bring the left ankle on top of the right knee. Shift your weight a little bit so you're sitting comfortably. You can pull your sitting flesh a bit out of the way. Then using your fingertips next to your hips here to push yourself up, lengthening your lower back. Reaching your sternum up. From there, walk your hands forward. Super, super gently. Take the weight with those hands so you don't go too fast in that position. Very gently dropping your elbows towards the floor. And if that's too much, just keep leaning on your wrists. Drop your head. Release your shoulders and take 5 deep breaths here. Keep softening the hips. Gently walking your hands back in. Releasing your knees. Now roll onto your back. Hold on to your knees. Pull your knees into the chest for a moment. From here, bring your hands down to the floor and push your pelvis up to roll your feet all the way back behind your head. The further you walk your feet away from your head, the deeper the stretch for your upper back. So you can experiment here a little bit with the weight, with the way that the feet work. Maybe shifting your heels back and forward a few times. And then if you'd like to deepen this stretch, bend your knees and bring them all the way down next to your ears. You can bring your hands to the backs of your heels to help guide your knees down towards the floor. Deep stretch between the shoulder blades. Release your belly button muscles, your belly muscles. Soften between the shoulders, soften the back of the neck. And from here, gently start to roll your pelvis back down. You can hold on to the sides of your feet. And And really see if you can go vertebra by vertebra really slowly. Bending your knees. And as your pelvis reaches the floor, bend your knees more, come into happy baby pose. Holding onto the sides of your feet, opening your feet a little bit wider. You can shift the weight side to side, rocking. Maybe for a moment connect to whatever image you have of yourself as a baby. Connecting to what it must have felt like as a baby to see the world, to be rolling side to side, up and down, and everything you saw was brand new. Eyes full of wonder. Gently bending your knees deeper, bring your feet to the floor. And then slide your legs long out, going to lying on your back in Shavasana. Close your eyes. Find a very comfortable position here. If you need to make any adjustments, do it now so you can stay lying very still after this. And then just like we did in the beginning of the class in standing, we'll go from feet to head, scanning through the body, finding any places we can release even more, this time in complete stillness, as far as that exists. Starting from your 10 toes, releasing them down, the balls of the feet and the soles of the feet softening down into the floor, the tops of the feet, the fronts of the ankles and the insides of the ankles, the outer ankles and the whole heel. Is there anything more you can let go of? Releasing the Achilles, softening the calf muscles, the outsides of the shins and the insides of the shins, and the fronts of the shins. Can you release anything more there? Can you sink anything down lower into the floor? Fronts of the knees and the outsides of the knees, the backs of the knees and the insides of the knees, and the beginning of the big upper thigh muscles connecting into the knees, moving all the way up, the muscles hanging from the bone. The inner thigh muscles also hanging from the bone, sinking down to the floor. The outsides of the upper legs, upper thighs, soft and easy. And the backs of the thighs, completely relaxed, hanging down. Is there anything else you can let go of? The whole buttock muscles, very big muscles hanging down from the pelvis. The outer hips, soft. The fronts of the hips, the psoas muscles. completely softening, hanging down the lower belly and the whole pelvic floor. Connection between the hip bones to the pubic bone, to the tailbone, to the sit bones, the bowl of the pelvis releasing down like a hammock, softening into the floor. The tailbone and the lower back. Is there anything else you can release in the lower back, in the sacrum, in the backs of the hips, and the belly, the organs resting on the spine? Can you release anything more? Just let it hang. The whole middle back, and the bases of the ribs, bases of the rib cage in the back, sinking down. The middle belly and the sides of the rib cage, and the floating ribs in the front, moving up the rib cage, releasing the intercostal muscles all the way up to the sternum, softening the sternum down into the floor, sides of the rib cage, inner armpits. Can you release anything else there? Middle of the rib cage in the back, top of the rib cage in the back, and the shoulder blades sliding on the ribs, even when we're lying completely still. The rib cage expanding and retracting as we breathe in and out. And the shoulder blades moving independently from the rib cage, sliding across the whole shoulder girdle. Completely free. It's only connected to the skeleton in the front with the collarbones to the sternum. The whole shoulder girdle and the whole arms are completely free. Seeing if you can release anything more in the shoulder blades, tops of the shoulders, sternum, collarbones, trapezius muscles, and the tops of the arms, all the way down to the elbows, sinking down, down, down. Lower arms resting on the floor, and the wrists and the hand palms. Anything else you can release in the backs of the hands, the fingertips. The front of the throat, super soft. Sinking down, releasing down the sides of the throat and the back of the neck. The base of the skull resting into the floor. The jaw softly hanging open. The whole jawline to the chin, to the mouth, to the cheeks, the ears, softening down, releasing between the ears also. The mouth and the tongue and the nose, the cheekbones, the temples and the eyebrows and the eyelids, and the eyeballs releasing down into their sockets.
eyebrows, between the eyebrows, the whole forehead, and the whole scalp, gliding over the skull as we breathe. And the brain also releasing down, relaxing. And just lie here and enjoy complete surrender, complete relaxation.
And you can stay here as long as you like. I want to thank you as always for joining today. Hope you had fun. And this shaking is something very, very powerful that can really help release tension and even heal injuries if you're careful and very mindful with it. So I hope you enjoyed that. I will be back Friday morning with a open heart class, so we'll do a lot of chest opening. So I hope to see you there. Have a beautiful day, and yeah, see you Friday. Mwah. Bye.